But okay, let's get right into it. We're doing one tip against every champion in the game. There's 172 champions. I'm going to be yapping. I'm going to try and keep the yapping to a minimum so that we can get all this done in a fast time. I'm going to try my best to just make it, one quick tip is this. That way, again, we save time. But some are going to get some yapping. It is what it is. But we're going to start in alphabetical order. We got Aatrox. I thought I'd give you, implied that everything that I say starts with the sentence. If I had to give you one tip, it'd probably be, always E his Q3. Because he's stuck in that animation, he does the giant flip, and you can use that to put him into the wall, and then with him being in the wall, you either run or you ult him, and so on. Ahri, use your E into her charm. A lot better. And if not that, just be sneaky about your movement. Sideways W and engaging behind someone else to let them tank the charm matters. Her charm is everything. Akali, never fight on Shroud unless you hit ult. Just don't. She gets so much extra benefit for being on that Shroud. Akshan, his E is everything. The grappling hook is everything. You either Q him out of it or you block it with your body block. Alistar, buffer E into his combo. Wow, all of this is going to be E now I'm thinking about it. Mbessa, usually has long cooldowns, so you gotta know that, sure, maybe she just dealt 90% of your health. She doesn't have much left. If she used all three things, you're done. Amumu, buffer E into his Q every time. Anivia, engaging with ult is best. Understand that her ult is a channel. She clicks it and then it spins and it grows and does the thing. Your ult cancels that, your Q cancels that. So if you ult her and then she redoes R, Q it. Easy. Her ult doesn't exist anymore. Annie, always buffer E into her stun. Aphelios, walking forward is always the play. Even if he's red-white gun, more times than not, Briar just kills him. So just walk forward. Ashe, you have to know if you can kill her before you go in, because if you can't, then she just kites you with that slow, and then you can't do anything. Aurelion Sol, be aggressive as possible. The champion can't do anything to you. WQ forward, if he tries to ult you, counter ult him back. You go right through it and cleanse the stun. Aurora, be creative with your W. If you can W towards her in a minion wave, she goes invis, she comes out, save your Q, hop right to her. Azir, just don't get baited into his ultimate. His ultimate will send you towards his team or a turret. Don't get baited into that. You're in a much better situation. Bard, going stun for stun is worth. If you gotta follow him through his E and you WQ him and he Qs you into the wall, that's always worth. Bel'Veth, don't get cheese level 1. Blitzcrank, sideways W the hook. Brand, there's no turning away from Brand. You have to know that you kill him before you go in. Braum, buffer E during that stun. Briar, I love you. Beat, bro. Caitlyn, play around the traps. Sideways W, ult, immediately Q. She'll try an E. You chase her down with W. Just play around the traps. Sideways W, Q, ward hop, anything. Camille, buffer E into her E, and you're in a really good spot. Right? If she E's to the wall, and you can predict the direction she's coming at you from, if it's diagonal, just try and put her back into the same wall. Cassiopeia, be creative with your movement and get WQ off before she Ws. Because when she gets W, you're not casting those spells. Cho'Gath, be careful about your health, because his Q, W, and E, and R do a lot of damage. And a lot of people think that he's just the 10k health tank. No, he does a lot of damage. So be careful about your own health when you try and fight him. Corki, just don't stand on his W more than you have to. Darius, don't take extended fights. Burst only short combos. Diana, if you sideways W her Q, she cannot fight. Dr. Mundo, build Bork. You don't need it, but if you do, he cannot play. Draven, don't feed your Q into his E. When you W1, you're going to run towards him. He's going to throw E to catch your Q. Don't do it. Just hold Q. Echo, you have to find the one time where all of your team can hit him at once and kill him during a stun. Because if you aren't all together and you don't all CC him all at once, or if you don't wait for your teammate to CC him to then layer your own, he's just going to ult away. At least dodging the cocoon is better than anything else. So dodge the cocoon. If you get hit by it, you're taking most of your health. If you can't dodge it, use E. Evelynn, be aggressive early. Don't let her start. Don't let her get to 6 for free and then just farm your top laner for 7 kills. Ezreal, W1 and then wait for him to E, then Q. If you W1 Q, then he's going to E and be stunned further ahead. But if you W1 and then you just run up, catch him, then you can Q after. Fiddlesticks, always buffer your E into his R. Just push him the opposite way. Fiora, be creative with your E's because you take a half charge E. Like if you start E'ing, she's going to look to W. So sometimes doing a half charge, she'll W, and then you just slowed her, but you didn't get stunned. Fizz, just you dodge his ultimate. It's everything. Dodge his ultimate. Galio, look at his rune. His rune tells you his game plan. If he has electrocute, he will burst you, and if he has a tank one, just do whatever you want. But be careful. His rune tells his game plan. Gangplank, Qing to barrels is okay, not that good, but Wing out of the barrel is best, and always E during the barrel ult. More than one. Garen, Garen's Q is a giant animation where he jumps, slashes on your head, and if you buffer E into that, you can more times than not put him into the wall. Gnar, same thing. He wants to W you to stun you as Mega Gnar and then ult you. Use your E during that W. Throw off, break his combo up. Gragas, sideways W his E is the best thing on earth. And second one, be careful about just using E because now you're standing still and he just ults you. So you have to really think about your E's. Graves, it's more of like an overarching thing. He plays to invade you with high tempo. So if you keep up cycling your camps, then he at least doesn't snowball super hard. But if you start playing for a gank and then he gets your top side, he's going to get your top side 10 more times and then you're in a rough spot. So you have to play super selfish against him because he's going to do the same thing. Gwen, fast combo. So fast combo means W1 Q and then W2 E. Fast combo her into the wall when she W's and then run away and then reset the situation is really good. Hecarim, same thing. Like he's like Echo and Graves mixed where he wants to steal your camps, be super selfish, but also you can find a lot of times to kill Hecarim once he finally goes in. If you W1 Q, try and burst him right then with your team. Heimer, just get his ultimate for free and run away. Reset the situation. Wei, do your best to dodge the fear, and if you can't dodge the fear, buffer your ult through it. Alawi, you have to fast combo, E her into the wall. Once she ults, don't ever fight, run away. Aurelia, you have to play her game. Do not ever fight in the minion wave when she has stacks. Only fight when she has no stacks. Fast combo, chunk her, and keep going. Ivern, sideways W his Q, and if you realize his Q is going to hit, buffer ult. Janna, Janna plays to annoy you and waste your time, so just, try and not get overly baited by that. Jarvan, E him into his own ult wall. You will reduce, if you start E as his R starts, you'll reduce the damage and put him into the wall. Jax, always E his E. Jayce, he does a lot of burst damage, and he also can play extended fights, so be really disciplined about your E angles. If you fast combo and you E him, if the E hits, he can't play the game. If the E misses, he does 2 extra damage. Jhin, ult his ult. Jinx, ult and then W past the traps. Play around her traps. Cassante always tried to buffer E into his Q3. Kai'Sa, have knowledge of when her E is going to let her go invis. Ballista, Have knowledge of where her support is. Because her ult will pick up her target, bounce her into you, and then you're going to be hitting the wrong target. So you have to kind of have an idea of how you're getting past her support. Karma, be creative with your movement. Sometimes Wing out of her tether, but still running to her is better than just getting tethered. And Q ward hop over walls and stuff like that's really good. Garthus, never fight on his passive. Kassadin, fast combos and a lot of CDR. You can do what he does better. Katarina, always to save Q for her ult. Kale, try and fast combo to bait her to ult and then E her away and then reset the situation with W. Kayn, be active early. Don't let him get form for free. Kennen, always try and E him away. Kha'Zix, you have to realize his play pattern is ult, auto Q, ult, auto Q. Try and disrupt that with ultimate or fast combo into ultimate. Kindred, don't get bent out of shape about losing a few camps and a few marks. At the end of the day, if she ever ults badly, you just ult her ult. Kled, when he dismounts, your Briar's going to run towards the next target, and that's sometimes going to mess up your damage because you're going to lose a little bit of time on your frenzy. Kog'Maw, he does a lot of really good poke damage, so sometimes you just got to be really fast about your engage. LeBlanc, your W will chase the correct LeBlanc most of the time. So when you see her go invis, but Briar's still chasing, that's a good thing. Lee Sin is all mechanics gap, so the lower rank you are, the more you can do whatever you want in this matchup. Leona, her E always puts her behind you, or the opposite side of the direction she threw. So if I throw at you right now, I'm going to be directly behind you, right? Use that to E her into a really bad spot, right? Stand in front of your turret, get E'd, E her back into the turret. Now she's in a crazy bad spot. Lillia, utilize your ult, cleansing her ult. So if you take a fast combo and then she Qs and then ults you, just ult her ult, and now you're not sitting still. Lissandra, try and buffer R, or buffer E into her R. You can do that, and it takes away a lot of her damage. Lucian, certain builds get a lot of E's. Just make sure you have a working understanding of like how often he's going to be E'ing, because that's his outplay on you. Lulu, make sure that when you go in, polymorph doesn't counter your whole game plan. Lux, sideways W to dodge her Q is the play, and if you realize it's going to hit, just use ult. Try and be really fast about it. Malphite, I'll make this one top lane specific. Once you build Black Cleaver, you essentially win. So get Black Cleaver ASAP the more that you're dealing with him. Malzahar, your ult can hit him, and his spell shield doesn't matter. So you ult, hit him with his spell shield, it still hits, still everything. You fly right to him, he has no spell shield. It's awesome. Maokai, you can buffer your E into his W. So if you see who he's Wing onto, if you can kind of predict where they're going to end up when he does it, you can E him into a wall. Master Yi. Master Yi, I would say... Wait 1 sec, I'm going to take a chat break. Mal's passive doesn't cancel Briar, no. Yeah, it's super sick. I don't know why Malzahar's passive works like that. I'm very doubtful. It's super weird, right? But either way, Master Yi, you have to Q him. I'll give you 2 tips because this one messes up you guys a lot. If he Qs, you WQ. Okay? He's likely to Q when he's hitting someone else and you're showing up, and then he's like, oh shit, I'm getting scared. So you have to Q him immediately after he Qs, and that's your turn to do damage. QE can be really good there. If, what was my second one? Something. It's like, what's it called? Yeah, I don't know. It's like, if he Qs a different target, you just WQ and you hit him, right? Sometimes you can W towards him. He will Q you to cancel your frenzy, and then you just QE him into the wall, and then you ult. That's one way to win the fight. Be careful of ulting in front of him, because he does a lot of damage. But But yeah, if he Qs you in particular too, you can try and buffer E into wall. He does choose a side that he comes out of, so that's not always going to put him into the wall. But if he just Qs you and you E him and then he dodges it, then you have WQ to fight. So it's like 3 different routes with that one. Try to give you guys a lot. Mel, ult that it make her W fly under the turret. Milio, this champion is literally just the ball kick. It's just the ball kick. That's it. Dodge that, you win the game. If you realize it's gonna hit, buffer ult. Misfortune, save Q for her ultimate. Mordekaiser, if you're going to lose the fight in his ult, just buffer E and hop over walls. And if you can win it, just win it. I prioritize wasting his ultimate more than beating him in it. Just waste his time. Morgana, you have to be careful about Morgana's Black Shield making your Q not stunned. You're really used to it. You and I are really used to when we click Q, that person stops moving. Black Shield changes that, and sometimes it'll lead you into a bad spot. Nefiri, WQ to get her... WQ Nefiri, right? Fast combo. And if they immediately react with W, then change your timing. Now you start Wing, and they will W, but now you save your Q. And now you have QE. If you W forward, she Ws, maybe you ult. So change up your timings or your combo routes there. Nami, dodge the bubble with your W. You can't always, but you should try. Nasus, always try and disengage when you get withered. Nautilus, try and not let him body block your ult. He will try to. Nico, always try and E her ultimate. Nidalee, be careful with your engages. She wants to play to hop over walls, and if you waste your cooldowns a bit too much, she will always be hopping walls and ruining your day. Nilah, save your damage. Don't Q, don't Titanic. Wait till her counter strike is over. That's the thing that makes her autos not hit. Nocturne matchup is a big tough one for you guys a lot of the time. Smite the spell shield. He thinks that when you're charging E, he's like, ha, this dumbass doesn't know I have a spell shield. And then you smite it right as he does it. Boom, he's in the wall. Nunu, sideways W, the snowball. Really good. Olaf, never fight if he is ult. Never. Get that cooldown, run away, try again. Play around walls to hop over. Orianna, just don't stack up for ultimate. She's always looking for a big 3-man ult. Just don't stack up. Ornn, he wastes your time that killing him most of the time isn't worth it. Attack his team. Pantheon, buffer E into his W every time. Poppy, don't feed your spells into her W. Just W forward outside of her W range, and just don't click a button. And just don't click a button. She'll W, don't click a button. That's it. Pyke, try and not get so caught up in his gameplay loop of going invis and then hooking you and stunning you and stuff like that. It's just not worth your time. Qiyana, prioritize trying to hit ult. Definitely really good. Quinn, try and not overthink that her E counters you, because sometimes if you W forward, she E's, you can still sometimes make it to her in Q and then W2. So it could be really good. Novori wants me to include one of the things he did. If you stand next to a wall and you get Quinn E'd, instead of getting knocked back a ton, you'll just knock into the wall, chill, and then you're right back running. Could do that. That's 2. K-Dog1512, thanks for gifting 2 subs. Super generous. Thank you so much. Very generous. Thank you so much. Rakan, break up his engage with your E. Sometimes very worth. Rammus matchup, always E his E. The taunt, if you E that every time, he's cooked. Rek'Sai, don't feed your Q into her while she's burrowed. She'll just counter it. Rel, try and break up her engage with your E. Renata, important against Renata. Dodge her chain. The chain, she can just like hold it out there and then last second throw you back. It wastes a lot of time in your frenzy. Renekton, always E his W. Rengar, play one shot for one shot. More times than not, you'll win if you E during his burst. Riven is a broken champion. You can't do anything. I'm just kidding. Always try and E her Q3. Rumble, never fight on Equalizer. Rise, he's a lot of like poke, but your all-in is really good. Fast combo into ult is really good. Samira, try not ult her unless, you know, spins down. Her spin eats that. Sejuani does a surprising amount of damage. When she goes for her, like, she stacks up her passive and then clicks a button to stun you, try and E her direction to break up that stun into auto combo. It does a lot of damage. Senna, be careful with her invis. It can throw off Frenzy a lot and make you drop. Gotta get into that circle. Seraphine, always E into her ultimate. Set, try and E early before he goes for his confirmed true damage W. If you can fast combo and just keep fast combo, that's it. Get away from him. That's how you beat him. Checo, Titanic hits the boxes that he drops. So a lot of times, if you turn on Sweeper and you just play Titanic right then, you'll clear a lot of the boxes without you even having to do work. And it can hit the clone, and you'll deal more damage to the clone, so you'll know which one's real if you're paying attention. Shen, just don't get baited thinking that you're going to kill someone and then get Shen ulted into Shen W. You know, just be aware. Shen ult exists. Shyvana, new Shyvana. Her health bar will look way bigger than yours, but more times than not, you'll win the 1v1, so don't be afraid to fight. Singed. Singed gets paid through time that he wastes. So, really, just take a short trade onto him. Don't let him waste your time. That's how he gets paid. Sion, if you kill him, you can always E his passive on spawn. You just have to wait a half second. Sever, smite the spell shield. Skarner, buffer E into him driving or ulting. It's really worth it. Like, if you can E, and if he ults you during that E, and you stun him into the wall, he's just standing still. Smolder, save your Q for his fly. Sona, actually surprisingly useful champ when she's kiting, so make sure that you're playing Big Burst. Soraka, she actually has a lot of counterplay by standing on her own E sometimes, so you have to make sure that when you're ganking this champion, 1, you're focusing her, and 2, that you're an actual threat to her. Swain, once he ult, if you do a fast combo, W1Q, W2, and then you E, if you stun him into the wall, that's enough time to drop his ult, so try and get that. Silas, if he ults you with your ult, just E him into the wall and win the fight. He cannot run away till he E's. Syndra, it's all about dodging her E, and if you're going to WQ and take the E, then buffer ult through it. W1 towards her. She will then go to QEU, you shoot R through that, and then you have Q when you're ulted. It's really good. Tom Kench, either E him into the wall before he Ws or after when he's coming out of the water. Talia, don't be afraid to get hit by the rocks. Sometimes just taking the rock and then fighting after is fine. Talon, try and get a working understanding of how he hops walls. That's going to be a lot of your counterplay. Taric, sideways Wing his stun is super valuable. And then, when he ults, everyone's going to group up into the circle so they can get ulted. That's sometimes it is a good time to like fly in. Teemo, I like to W towards him, and if I'm not so scared of my health being depleted, then I'll W towards him, I'll tank the blind. Once the blind's over, Q auto, W2, and then buffer E. It's really good. Thresh. Thresh likes to flay you away and then hook. So if you sideways W, one of those two spells is really good. You can also buffer your ult into him. Tristana, try and guess where she'll jump to. Sometimes it's worth Eing that, or just immediately, like, oh, she jumped too far forward. Kill her right then. Boom. Trundle's all about not being in the bad place before it happens. So sometimes if he just catches you in that one spot, you're just dead. He's going to walk you down. You have to see that coming. Tryndamere, you want to get him low, want him to ult. When he ults, he's going to try and kill you now. Buffer your E then, not before. Put him into the wall, and then you can actually ult him or just play your next WQ to confirm. Twisted Fate, it's a cannon minion that can stun you. Buffer E into the stun if it's bad, or just go forward. Twitch. When Twitch opens up with his spells and he goes for that big ult combo, try and just fight damage right then. You need to pressure him so that he's not just boom, 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 right, dropping nukes on your head. You want to pressure him then so that he at least adds some walking. Once his ult's off, get him in. Udyr? Udyr. What's most important against Udyr? I think it's important against Udyr to not let him bitch you. There's a lot of times where, like, Udyr players will make you fight. Okay, they're either going to QQ you or they're going to slow you down with ultimate and just try and fight you. You just gotta fight sometimes, so be okay with it. Wait for the highest damage point, use E, and sometimes you're not going to get away. You just gotta fight. So make sure that you know where you're at. Urgot, always E his E. Varus, dodging his ultimate is the most important part of this champion. He needs you to stand still to get max damage. Vayne, fast combo into ult's really good. Veigar, this champion only exists as a cage stun. Play around that. Respect that spell. Vel'Koz's dodging his E is his whole kit. Play around that. If that is dodging it with W, flash, Q, ulting through it, however. Vex, never engage when her passive is up. You just take 1,000,000 damage for fun. Vi, if she ults you, buffer E into the wall, you'll put her right into the wall. Viego, you have to find when he's at his weakest moment, where he's like, okay, I have to send everything to get this reset. Try and hit him right then, not before. Don't overzealously try and engage into this champ, or you're just going to feed. Victor, play around his W. He shouldn't be able to kill you with damage. You should be able to kill him. So as long as you play around his W, you're fine. Vladimir, sometimes forcing his W and then just running away is good because of the cost of the spell. So sometimes you don't have to deal a lot of damage if you just make him press W early. Volibear, buffer E into his Q. Warwick, the champion's outright weaker than you, so he has to do a lot of, like, he has to Q through your E, and you want to E during his fear. So when he goes for a fear on you, you either W, slide out of it, and then engage with Q, and then you're just taking a damage sim, or if you E his E, then he's going to Q through it, so that means that you have WQ left to fight. You got to do a damage sim, so you have to make sure that when you're fighting him, you know that that situation will happen. Wukong, don't overthink his W. The cooldown is like 20 seconds, okay? Sometimes you WQ and he uses clone, your next cooldown is just kill him. Xayah, you have to pay attention to the feathers. Xerath, he's a 1 stun mage. W towards him, get the stun, buffer ult through it. Zinzao, buffer E into his Q3. Put him into the wall every time. Yasuo, when he uses Wind Wall, 1, it blocks your E and ult, but 2, it stops your team from hitting, and that's going to change the damage that you have in your head if you're playing with your team. Wind Wall is a lot. Yone, what's important against Yone? Dodging Q3 and ultimate with W is super good. Yorick, if you engage on Yorick with W and you get close enough to him, he's going to try and use his wall on you. Try and Q him during that and hop out of it. Yunara, her W is actually like decent CC. Respect it. Yuumi pumps a lot of healing and shielding. Serpent's Fang anti-heal. Sometimes just fully counter that. Zehen, never fight him with passive. Short trades or burst. Only 2 options. Zac, buffer E into his E. Zed, when he ults you, E him into the wall, or just stun him for your team. Zeri, she gets a lot of movement speed, so be careful when she's hopping walls and running away from you. Sometimes she can kite you for a while. Ziggs, his W, he's going to use it to blast pack himself away from you, and that also can eat your Q, so try and hold your spells correctly. Zilean, I believe Zilean ult. Actually, let me double check. I just look at the bar, but Zilean ult, I think Zilean ult is a 3-second respawn timer. Let me double check, make sure I'm telling you guys. Okay, yes. Against Zilean, you have a lot of different timings in this game. Like, Zahen's passive is 4 seconds for his revive. GA is 4 seconds. Zilean's is 3. So you have to know those timings, or you're going to mess up the timing. Zoe, sometimes you got to buffer ult through her sleep because you're just going to get slapped and take a bunch of damage and die anyway, so you might as well try. Zyra, sometimes killing the plants is like actually worth it. Her ultimate powers up her plants, deal a lot of damage. Sometimes just auto queuing, Titanicing them is super good and reduce their damage a ton. But there you go. 1 tip against every champion. Did we forget anything? I mean, obviously this is everyone, right? We got that done in 31 minutes. I expected this to take way longer. What's that, like 1 tip every 20 seconds? Nice. Huge. Thank you for watching.